What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck. Real Cowboys fans, stand up. So let's go ahead and get straight to it. So the Dallas Cowboys kicked off camp today, day 2 of camp. And I'll say this, y'all, the defense is getting off to a great start. And this time last year, we had a lot of question marks when it comes to our defense, right? You know, we went from Mike Nolan to Dan Quinn. We didn't know about Micah Parsons. He was going to be that dynamic. Had a lot of question marks, but it seems right now the defense is carrying their uptrend from last season, which is refreshing to see. Thus far, they haven't given up any touchdowns or any points when it comes to their scrimmage drill, so I like to see that. Anthony Brown had a few pass breakups, so his secondary is playing great thus far. We know he had the pick 6 yesterday. Also, Dante Fowler, defensive end who we brought in this offseason, was getting a lot of pressure alongside with Micah Parsons, so I definitely like what I saw as far as the pass rush is concerned. And then also our second-round rookie in Sam Williams, he played outside defensive end, but he also played some 3-tech, so it looks like they're going to move him around when it comes to his positioning on the defensive line. So he played a lot of 3-tech interior when he was in college. But it looks like Dan Quinn's going to be creative when it comes to Sam Williams as well. Tristan Hill, my guy Tristan Hill had a decent day as well. And also Jaron Kearse, he was out there in coverage, had a few pass breakups versus Dalton Schultz. So Jaron Kearse, he has a huge chip on his shoulder coming in from the offseason, and it looks like he's continuing to lead out there. Now, I will say this. They didn't have full pads on, y'all, so you definitely have to be patient, because I know a lot of people are saying the offensive line is struggling, right? But you got to understand, I was a defensive player, and this time, when it's just shells, which means just helmets and shorts, I love this time, because I have those big offensive linemen coming in and cutting me and putting pressure on me and trying to take my head off, right? So once the pads really come on, which I believe will be Monday, then that's when we're really going to see where this defense is and where our offensive line is, because right now the offensive line is pretty much on their heels while the defense is able to come forward and do pass rushing drills. But going to the offensive side of the ball, our rookie offensive guard Tyler Smith, he's adapting quickly. I like what I saw from Tyler Smith. He had a great interview on 105 through the Fan today. Just a young kid, man. Great personality. He's eager to learn. He talked about learning from Zach Martin and, Tyron Smith, also Tyler Biadasz, Connor McGovern. So the list goes on and on. He said even Matt Farniok, every time he asks questions, the veterans are willing to help. And that's something I definitely like to hear. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Dallas Cowboys handle Tyler Smith. Is he going to be our quote unquote guard, or will he play some swing tackle as well? Remains to be seen. When it comes to our offensive tackle, specifically our swing tackle, and Matt Waletzko, he had an injury today, didn't practice as much, and so here we go with the depth being depleted, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Dallas Cowboys handle that. Stephen Jones said they might consider bringing in a veteran swing tackle, but as of right now, Matt Waletzko was injured today at camp. Nothing too serious, I don't think, but he didn't practice much. As far as the offense is concerned with the passing game, CeeDee Lamb had a few catches, had a drop, so of course, all the CeeDee Lamb haters were coming out like, Tuck, he had a drop, but I'm definitely not concerned. Dak Prescott looked good. He looked good in the pocket, looked good under pressure, made some throws downfield. He was doing what Dak does, and so I definitely like what I'm seeing from Dak Prescott. I feel like Dak Prescott is taking it upon his shoulders to lead this offense, because he knows that the quarterback is going to have to uplift this team, specifically in the passing game. So I'm confident that Dak Prescott's going to lead. My guy TJ Vasher there with a big catch and a big snag. Look at that catch radius, y'all. You gotta love my guy TJ Vasher, man. So TJ Vasher got off to a good start. Now, I will say this. James Washington, even though he recovered from the shoulder injury when we saw from yesterday, he played a little bit but didn't really stand out. TJ Vasher had a few camps. He was getting a lot of second team reps. That was Will Greer that was throwing the ball, but TJ Vasher looked good. So you might see a situation where if he continues to uptrend, he might get himself in the conversation. Do I think it will be at wide receiver 3? No, but you could see wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, because I feel like Simi Fioco could possibly be on the fringe. I know a lot of people were high on him last year, but he just hasn't created any distance, and especially this camp thus far, so we shall see. Also today, Mike McCarthy came out and had his press interview without his micromanagers, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. So he had a lot of interesting topics to speak about. He talked about Turbin, who we just brought in, who's going to be specifically for punt returns. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. CeeDee Lamb is officially off punt returns. Yes. And so, we got, a guy out of the USFL. He's been out of TCU, a fast guy, a 4.3 guy, a twitch guy. Mike McCarthy compared him to Tony Pollard. They asked, do you think that you can expect to see Turpin, involved in the offense? Right now, it's just a special team signing, but we know special teams definitely does matter, and we're going to be excited to kind of see what he can bring as far as the return is concerned. He talks about when it comes to the wide receiver core, he wants wide receivers that can do variations of different things. They can play outside, can play inside, they can line up in the backfield, they can use jet sweeps. Like, he wants Kellen to be creative when it comes to the usage of our wide receivers. And we know CeeDee Lamb is one of those guys. We know that Tony Pollard is one of those guys. And I feel like Jalen Tolbert is one of those guys as well. He can play inside and outside. And so I definitely want to see the creativity when it comes to the wide receiver room. Specifically, since we did get an official announcement, right, that Michael Gallup will not be playing week 1. I mean, I guess that's breaking news, right? We all kind of assume that, right? But even though it sounds like Michael Gallup is ahead of his recovery process with the ACL, it sounds like he's not going to be playing week 1. I would be surprised if he plays in the first 4 weeks or not. Like I said, I had Halloween being an optimistic, comeback, for Michael Gallup, but it sounds like it might even be into November. So some of these wide receivers that we frequently mention are going to need to step up and are going to need to emerge. He also spoke about Dak Prescott, and he had a great quote that I loved. He says, defense wins championships, but quarterbacks win Super Bowls. I like that, Mike. He said, defense wins championships, but he says quarterbacks win your Super Bowls. And I think someone pressed on him, one of the media. I think it was either Clarence Hill or Calvin Watkins. They pressed on him. He's like, no, you're not going to try to, make a headline out of that. What he was trying to say is that particularly once you get to the Super Bowl, the team who has the quarterback that plays the best typically win the Super Bowl, which a lot of us can agree. There has been a few instances, like the Ravens, right, when the defense pretty much has carried to a Super Bowl victory. But in most situations, that is when you're going to need your quarterback to shine, and he's confident in Dak Prescott. The one thing I did have concern with when Mike McCarthy was asked a question, I think it was from Jane Slater, was about the relationship that he has with Dak Prescott. And he said that outside the locker room, he really doesn't have a relationship with Dak Prescott. He wants it to be organic. So it's not like Dak and Mike McCarthy are texting each other and tweeting each other, or, talking, FaceTiming each other during the night and stuff. They don't have that friendship that I think Dak and Kellen really have. But he says, I talked to Dak yesterday for about 45 minutes the other day, just about life, nothing football related. So it seems like they do have a connection. But I'm curious to see, why isn't it like this, right? Because we all know Mike McCarthy is a quarterback coach. Why don't you want to be connected to your quarterback? But besides that, I like what I saw today. Defensively, the defense is continuing their trend from last year, and I feel like offense is going to catch up eventually. Just got to get back in sync, but we'll see as camp progresses. It's your boy Jay Tuck. Comment, like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you do not miss out. Also, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, of course, at JTuck151 to stay updated with all Dallas Cowboys news, man. I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged, and go Cowboys. Peace.